Was dealing with the Yorkshire Building Society. Now, I've been a member, I've had a savings account with them for 17 years, and before that, my father, my parents, my late father had several accounts with them. I'm part Yorkshire, and as the family, almost a family tradition, we'd had some dealings with the Yorkshire Building Society. Anyway, so every member of the Building Society, every month, we would get an email from head office saying, how are we doing as a bank? We want to hear from you, our members. Are we doing the things you want us to do? This kind of stuff. And of course, you put those in the junk media file, don't you? But on this one occasion in June last year, they were pushing very heavily LGBTQA, whatever the numbers are now, month of June. And they say, how are we doing? And the masthead was covered in transsexual flags. And I just thought, well, they are asking. Oh, I might give them a reply. That was probably foolish, I've now discovered. Anyway, I wrote back to them a polite letter on their portal, polite email, stating two things. The first thing was, you're a good bank. You're good at managing money. But you're obviously spending a great deal of energy and time and money and personnel on pushing this social agenda. Don't do it. Use your resources to do what you're designed for, which is to bank, manage money. And then the second point, I said, as a minister in the church, I have severe reservations about the transsexual ideology. Again, I didn't have a go at anybody, and I didn't mention anybody by name. It was a politely written message back to them. But I referenced the hoo-ha that had been taking place the year before, 9 months before, with Drag Queen Story Hour, which some of you may be familiar with, when various drag queens were going into libraries and schools and reading stories to underage children. And the parents were getting upset about it. And I actually referenced that with a link to actually The Guardian and The Mail as far as their coverage of that Drag Queen Story Hour, and saying basically this is an ideological thing, and it's, you shouldn't be pushing this on us as if it was a fact and a good thing for society. Anyway, so I wrote these two short paragraphs. And I thought the best that could happen is if 100 other people responded like me, then maybe in 2024, they would just sit easy. The marketing department might say to them, look, let's not push that LGBTQ stuff. There was a bit of a pushback against it. I thought that was the best result that might happen. I thought almost certainly they'll just ignore me, because that's kind of what marketing departments do, isn't it, when they don't hear something they don't like. Well, I was quite surprised. 2 weeks later, I got a very sharp letter back from them, a physical letter, in which they said things like, it's clear between the two of us that our relationship has irrevocably broken down, which was absolute news to me. And I thought, oh, no, I'm just replying to your question. And then things like, we must protect our staff from prejudice, which presumably meant me, protect my staff from you, Richard Fothergill. We're going to close your account in 2 weeks' time. If you don't take the money out, we'll send you the check of what's in there. Now, there wasn't much in there. It's only a savings account, not a current account. Anyway, so I sat on this letter for 24 hours, and actually I prayed about it, and I felt that it was right to stand up and say, no, this is not the way to behave. I thought that if nothing else, that maybe the next guy in line maybe has a current account with them, and it's their business, and he said something they don't approve of, and they cancel him in 2 weeks' notice. And that would have shipwrecked people with a current account rather than a savings account. I had a current account elsewhere, so in one sense it wasn't really too prejudicial. But the principle is the key thing.